Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here with
Nick Paola.
Welcome to another episode of Raiders of the Lost Comic Movie. So if you've never seen an episode of the show, what I do is, over my vast knowledge of nerdy stuff and pop culture stuff, I've amassed a lot of comic book movies that people have forgot, and I force my friends to watch them and talk about them.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You ain't forcing me now. I've been wanting to be on a Raiders episode for quite a while, so I'm happy to be here.
All right. So, are you excited for Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, man. Probably gonna see some Mysterio.
Yeah, he looks badass.
Maybe it was Rey Mysterio. What if Jake Gyllenhaal played Rey Mysterio?
Well,
Yeah.
did you know Spider-Man was far from home once before?
I know now. We had to
Because he went
endure
to
that real quick.
Because he went to Hong Kong in Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge. So yes, today we are finishing out the 1970s trilogy of Spider-Man movies with the final one. What are your initial thoughts of Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge?
I didn't know it was a trilogy till you just said something right now, and at this point I'm just glad I didn't have to do the entire trilogy, because that shit was a labor to get through after a while. It was kind of
there was
no fizz to it. Flat soda.
There was the 1977 Spider-Man, then there was Spider-Man Strikes Back, and then this one. So yeah, it's like 2 episodes of the show, but was actually released in Europe and Hong Kong and Asia as a movie, and so I count it as a movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it felt like a movie. It felt like a really long movie.
Yeah,
It's a movie.
It was a movie.
So
It was a thing.
do you even know what the plot was to this?
I honestly can't remember it. There's an old guy who was Bernie's Mr. Lomax's gardener in Weekend at Bernie's, and Ted Danson had a very brief cameo.
Oh yeah, Ted Danson popped up for like literally 2 minutes.
Back
if
when
even
he was
that.
smashing all kinds of vagine in those days, boy. He was like young, handsome Cheers Ted Danson.
He was.
Not like Becker Ted Danson. Grouchy old doctor.
So far as I could tell, there was like this guy from Hong Kong who was stopping some sort of construction, and the construction guy wanted to kill that guy.
I forgot that he was a construction worker. Like,
It's not very good.
It's not very well written.
Yeah,
It's hard. It was hard to follow.
yeah. It's and it might. I don't know if it's just the recording or the movie itself, but yeah, it was hard to understand what they were saying too, and
Yeah, and they didn't
But
have
even if you
subtitles
could,
in any of the
yeah.
Chinese.
So yeah, they end up going to So first half is in New York, and it takes 15 minutes to even see Spider-Man.
There's like a huge montage of a guy walking through an airport.
Yeah. God, it took like almost 10 minutes to even anyone to even say words in this.
Yeah,
Like it took
10
forever
minutes,
for
yeah.
even words. And then yeah, the second half is in Hong Kong, and it really felt like the producers of the TV show wanted to go to Hong Kong, and they just got the studio to pay for it. Because a lot of the footage looked like vacation footage.
Yeah, they're just kind of being tourists, walking around. And they happened to have access to a couple like, big shows, which was kind of cool, but still didn't feel like
Yeah, no,
Hollywood. It didn't feel like...
Yeah, we're like watching Spider-Man go on vacation. Like there wasn't anything going on for a while. Like it was just... They showed us his entire like tourist trap stuff. And
it's like
showed us his entire vacation.
If you're watching this expecting like a superhero movie, it's kind of like in Zack and Mary Make a Porno, and like a big buildup of them being in the porn together, but they just end up kind of like making love. It's like it just kind of was a slow, dragged out.
Oh yeah,
anticlimactic. But I do love the spider sense.
Yeah, so this has got nothing on, Tom Holland's arm hairs raising up. No. This is the spider sense.
This guy has a full-on hallucination. And premonition, can see through walls.
And they love that effect because they used it a bunch.
Yeah, apparently now we know that Spider-Man is bulletproof, but they can pierce him with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah. So, one scene, Spider-Man stops some guys, I guess, from stealing a thing. Again, hard to follow. But he's just like running down the subway track, like not even dodging or serpentine, just running straight. So the guy pulls out a gun and shoots him.
He falls on the third rail, but doesn't get electrocuted.
And then he just gets up and walks away. Next scene, he's just fine.
Yeah, he's holding his arm for about 2 scenes. 15 seconds worth of scenes.
Although it did provide us with a very intense scene of Spider-Man just getting out of the way of the subway.
Oh, yeah.
It was very intense. Slowly getting up and scooching to the side.
The way that guy moved, sometimes I was wondering if the internet was choppy or he was so slow. No, that's just him.
He's just running about, sneaking.
Sneaky.
Yeah, he sneaks. That's what he does. He is sneaky. And then, like, near the end, as you mentioned the trank, you finally are like, oh, Spider-Man's finally doing something. We're going to get some action. And they trank him.
Falls into the wire. Gets rescued by some Chinese villagers.
Yeah, although it's reminiscent of the subway scene in Spider-Man 2 with all the people lifting him up.
Except they're just grabbing him by arms and legs. The doctor had no problem taking his mask off.
Yeah, they just pull his mask off.
And they didn't even make a big deal out of it. Really, like, Spider-Man gets unmasked in any of their Spider-Man movies. It's like this big, epic, is it going to happen or isn't it? He just yanked it off.
Yeah, there he is. So Spider-Man's known for its great villains. So, we're going to have Mysterio coming up. We had the Vulture. What about Old White Guy?
He didn't even get his just desserts, did he?
He got arrested at the end, and that was about it. Because remember, Spider-Man did that sweet slide across the table to catch him.
And then went into the door. No, that's right.
Yeah. But he's just like an old guy. Like, they didn't bother with any sort of interesting villain.
He wasn't wearing pants most of the time. Like,
yeah.
He had his robe on that went about mid-thigh. Old man, silky Chinese robe. Okay, if you're an old white guy and you go to China, you have to get that robe. It's like the rule they give it to you at like the airport at customs. Like, okay, you have to wear this. And then, you could tell who all the thugs were though, because the members only jackets.
Yeah, members only jacket. That reminds me, outside that old guy villain, we had that other weird white guy that was just like, do you realize how much that thing costs to buy?
You better find them before he does, and then persuade them not to cooperate. It'll be expensive. I want that contract to build a steel mill in Shantung. I don't care about the expenses. Do you understand that, Bunny?
Okay. And what about the newspaper photographer?
It was like a Bob Newhart's on steroids. Maybe.
Something about that guy, and he was like,
he was off.
Weirdly, like, emotionally, like, reliant on the other bad guy, where he's like, you wouldn't have really killed me, would you?
Come on, man. I thought we were buddies.
He's just, but like I couldn't tell if it was meant to be played for laughs or if it was just bad acting. But he was off. Like, and he's in a lot of the movie, and he's just really weird and off.
So it's either bad acting or bad writing and bad acting.
Or yeah, could be all of them.
That scene maybe could have been gold had someone done it right. You know, a lot of the jokes. I don't know if there was jokes. If there was, they didn't hit right.
No. Yeah, that's the biggest problem of this movie, though. Overall, is just nothing happens for so long. Like, it's only an hour and a half, but it felt way longer than that. It went forever.
Like, I felt like there was times that there was like tongue-in-cheek chauvinism and racism too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what was it when the black chick had a suggestion and Jay Jonah just looks at her, he didn't even respond.
There will be a complete set of pictures and the story about the mysterious gunman on the front page in the next edition.
It's like, then they just go to another scene. They don't even address what the chick said.
Yeah. just straight up ignored it.
Later, when they're dressing Peter to blend in with the crowd, she says, "Just don't show your face, and you'll fit right in with everyone."
Yeah,
He's like a foot taller than everyone in China. Guy, man.
Oh, that was
Yeah, just don't show your face. And like I told him, I was like, what if he pops out with some big old teeth like Charlie Chan, that old racist ass shit from the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, this is
The 70s, you could still kind of get away with some shit. You
a
can't
little
do.
bit.
They couldn't do that on like Arrow nowadays. You know what I mean?
Here, take this pointy hat and blend in with everybody. Arrow.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, they definitely dropped all their budget on the trip to Hong Kong because the minor effects that were in the previous ones are pretty much gone. We only get one wall.
I'm curious. I really see how good these other effects were in the last couple.
But yeah, we only get one wall crawl the entire movie.
Well, there's one at the beginning, one later in the end.
Was there one in the beginning?
Yeah, it was in New York, and then he did one in Hong Kong on this crazy architecture. But at one point, you can just see the rig where the cable's coming from.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man does a whole...
He turns all the way around. Although, again, I give him props for the stuntman, because it was the 70s. They had, like, no safety precautions.
Not in Hong Kong. You get away with anything in Hong Kong in the 70s.
4 Spider-Man were killed in the making of this movie.
Yeah. Hong Kong is the original Bangkok, as they say, in the 70s.
They like to use his web shooters a lot in this one more than the others.
Yeah.
He liked to slightly tie up people with webs.
Yeah, he ties the people up. He shot a web and then climbed up it like gym class style.
Oh yeah, super slow. Like it's this big dramatic scene, and he shoots the web and then just
really slow right before a car hits. But it's like he climbs out and then the car hits like 5 seconds later. Like, man, like the timing on this shit, you know. Like, the web shooter. He didn't use it to climb. Like, he was climbing stairs and...
Yeah, he just goes up the stairs.
Like,
yeah, the whole scene in the newspaper factory or whatever you want to call it. Man. He's just, like, using the handrails. Just like,
and then
careful.
They're kidnapping his buddy and he runs off to change into Spider-Man. Took him forever, but earlier in the newspaper place, he ended up changing right into Spider-Man just... as soon as he had the Flash.
Yeah. But yeah, the other time, like, when the guy's actually in danger and, like, they captured him, he's like, I gotta take my time, gotta make sure I look good. First time, being Spider-Man in Hong Kong.
They should have used the old Ironsides sample that Kill Bill had there.
Oh, yeah.
Every time the spider sense was going on, I felt like I was about to transcend, man. Like he's gonna go into the astral plane right here. Eyes light up and time freezes. to give it like 5 bugles
5 bugles.
out of 5. What do you give it?
This is definitely like half. Because the last, like comparatively to the other ones, this is even bad for the bad ones.
Like,
Because the other ones you could at least laugh at how goofy they are and like the fight scenes and stuff. But this one had so much nothing that it was just boring.
slow fights.
Oh yeah.
Slow fights, and like we're kind of spoiled though. We're spoiled because we got like shit like Endgame where Cap's slamming Thanos with the hammer back and forth and the shield, and it's like it was so fast paced, but you can still catch it with your eye. Imagine in '79, you could sit down in your armchair.
I don't know.
Send your kids outside. Go play in the creek. We can't, Daddy. There's broken glass out there. Go play in the creek.
Well, I have some.
Daddy's watching Spider-Man.
I have a few older viewers, so if you saw Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge in the 70s when it was meant to be seen, was it still good, or is it just bad compared to what we have now?
I mean,
'Cause this
definitely
is-
compared to now, but it's like in the '70s, like, what did they have? What did they have that had a storyline? Everything was a serialized, almost a one shot every episode. Even the Hulk, like this week he's on a Indian reservation helping out the local clinic, and next week he's looking for a drunk driver that ran down a dog in South Dakota, so in small town. Like he never. It's almost like there wasn't continuity. Like
Yeah. Well, there was.
yeah, like everything was serialized. In the '70s, everything was like that, though. All the shows you watch are like that.
Well, it's interesting, especially doing this show, is they just didn't have villains either. Like even Superman, it was just Lex. It's just always just a businessman was always the villains. They didn't bother doing a villain. Like the Batman Adam West show is the only one that like had proper villains.
Yeah,
everything else was just like businessmen or kids doing stupid things, and you have to teach them a lesson.
The contract negotiations are breaking down, or you have to send the big guns out. I want you to hijack a van and.
So I think that's kind of interesting when you really think about it. They didn't bother with villains. I guess Zod would be the next closest in Superman.
Yeah, but you know that was they had to have Zod. Then what was it, Superman 3 with Richard Pryor? Or was that 4?
3 was Richard Pryor. Yeah.
So yeah, there was 4. They had Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man.
Who. I don't get why they dubbed Lex Luthor's voice. It just makes no sense. Like, so you put a little DNA, he automatically just comes out with your voice. Like,
yeah. So since you haven't seen the other Spider-Man movies,
see, that's what it was like. I just I lip synced to what you're saying.
There you go. Since you haven't seen the other '70s ones, though, how would you rank this on a 5 spider scale?
I give it like 1.5. We'll say 1.5. Like, it's a thing. It exists. It gets a point for spelling his name right.
Would you rather watch this or Into the Spider-Verse? Which, I mean, it's a hard choice, but which would you
I love the Spider-Verse, man. That was great.
All right, this one or Spider-Man 3, the other bad Spider-Man?
Definitely Spider-Man 3. I like this one. It was cool, and I got the notch on my belt now. But I don't think the rewatchability is.
No,
I'd say the rewatchability is about that of Aquaman right now. Like,
yeah,
which I really liked in the theater, but the second time I was like, are we really watching this again?
Yeah, I could not even imagine trying to watch this Spider-Man movie again. Like even for like a goof, because it's just really boring. Like I'm just stuck on that, but it's true. It's just Spider-Man's in maybe 10 total minutes if you add it all up.
It's reminiscent of like that Doctor Strange movie too. Like nothing really. Like in Doctor Strange, he never really like did any magic.
Yeah,
he was just like an actual doctor walking around in the library for an hour.
Although on another episode, at some point on this show, there was a 1970s Doctor Strange TV movie.
You already did it, or
I haven't done it yet. So that's gonna happen. See, if you're complaining about that Doctor Strange, imagine the 70s version of Doctor Strange.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The 70s with the made-for-TV.
Yeah,
it's like him just walking around in the library for like an hour.
It's like, why did they bother doing these if they knew they couldn't do the effects? I don't know.
Who knows?
It's
like,
weird.
But I think that it was tied in through the Hulk universe, right? With the Thor and everybody? Or was that the same
they
actors?
never crossed over Spider-Man. And I think Hulk started maybe after the Spider-Man show. I don't know. I'd have to look at the timeline.
I mean,
but we could have had a really lame 70s Avengers with like
that
the
Thor
Lou
was
Ferrigno
awful.
Hulk, that crappy Thor. Daredevil popped up in one of the episodes of Hulk, and then there would have been this Spider-Man, and then the Doctor Strange.
Was it actual Daredevil, or was it just like a lawyer named Matt?
No, he's actually got the black costume with the headband.
Wow!
Throw up a picture here. I'll cover that on some point too in this show. That was in the Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, okay. What about the poster for this Spider-Man movie though? Yeah. You gotta put that up.
Right. Yeah. Right there.
I'm just framing it for you, but why is Spider-Man's junk so prominently displayed right here? Is he throwing a kick, or he's just giving you some of this action?
But yeah, what I will say is anyone that complains about any of the Spider-Man movies, if you bitch about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and how, quote, bad that is, you're spoiled.
Yeah,
you have not watched these Spider-Man movies.
Step up. That one was a hard one. That's another one. Rewatchability is like I wasn't seeing these in the theaters. I don't remember having a bad time or being mad walking in there. But I will say this: if you try to take the Tobey, Sam Raimi trilogy and watch them one after another, halfway through 2, you're just like, why did I decide to do it? Like, I could watch all 6 of the old Star Wars movies right in a row, like in the order they came out, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't get as tired as I do trying to watch the whole Spider-Man trilogy. The one big takeaway from this Spider-Man that we just watched is like Peter Parker almost he doesn't have that humanized side. Like he's not.
No.
He's kind of robotic. The actor's like really serious, and he's like, "Oh, I put a spider tracker in, and we're going on this helicopter."
Or just like when they're trying to have fun in Hong Kong, it's like, well, we can't be having fun. It's dangerous.
He was a stick in
the mud.
Hole. Stick in the ass. I think Sinbad said some of these people walk around like they got a potato chip in the ass, don't want to break it. That was Peter Parker. The whole time in Hong Kong, the guy's like, let's go to an opium parlor. And Peter's like, that would be highly irresponsible. We're here for a reason.
Speaking of which, Spider-Man always has his quips when he's Spider-Manning in there out. He had one line while he was dressed as Spider-Man, and it's, no, I don't. When he's like, I thought you didn't work outside of New York. Normally, I don't.
Spider-Man? I didn't know you worked outside New York.
I don't, usually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was his only line as Spider-Man?
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's a good catch.
They didn't have him quip or anything. He was just super, just like, doing the Spider-Man job. Got a Spider-Man.
If I was like a superhero, I think I'd be the quip guy too, like Deadpool type. But then I'm a stoner, so sometimes I'll be getting like lost in my own thoughts, and I'll say some shit won't make no sense.
All right, so to wrap this up, since this was part of the Spider-Man TV show, does this inspire you to want to watch the rest of that show, or even the other movies that were part of this?
I think it inspires me to go home and actually write fan fiction about this. Like, I'm gonna write a whole I'm gonna bring in all these cameos and stuff. Go write a 70s Spider-Man movie.
There we go.
It can't be any worse than what we just watched.
I think with the technology we have now too, we can totally film one just
in
people. Yeah.
Hell yeah. There's people walking around the mall and shit. Well, I appreciate you having me,
Sure.
Mr.
And do you have anything
Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard?
Do you have anything to promote while you're here? I'll put links in.
Yeah. See, I do music, DJ, rap, sing, tell jokes. But I have a show. When's this coming out? The video?
July, early July.
So July
for Spider-Man.
20th. July 20th at the Trailside Saloon in Thornton. Come out and see me and the Mutant Rebel Entertainment crew I got with me coming out. We're doing a big show, a lot of good artists on it. You can find me at nickpayola.bandcamp.com. The whole catalog's on there, anything I've released so far. I got 2 albums coming out soon, hopefully. Quit dragging my feet and get this album art done. But yeah, and Payola, that's how you spell payola. None of that weird double vowel next to each other shit. Payola. I hate that shit.
Alright, so let me know what you guys thought of Spider-Man. If you're excited for Far From Home, if you're curious about the 70s ones, if you've seen the 70s ones before and you'd like to share your history with them, let me know in those comments below. Give me a Spider-Man style thumbs up. That'll help me out. Little thwack. And share this video around. Make sure people know that Spider-Man was alive in the 70s. He was alive, but not well.
He was alive and mediocre.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for joining us.